Hello. Today I'm going to talk about my personal experience with public schooling. If you relate, I am so sorry, and thank you for watching. When you're in school, it's supposed to be your entire world. All you really need to worry about always ties back to what's going on at school. It's where you meet your friends, where you learn reading and writing, and where you're supposed to learn how to function as an adult, or at least give you the resources to grow up in the modern world. That's the idea, but for me and who knows how many other people, it doesn't really work out how it's supposed to. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that the answer isn't that I'm so profoundly stupid that I couldn't process school or that I skipped out all the time to go do drugs and party, because I like to think I'm fairly intelligent and I never skipped school, I never did drugs or drink. I simply struggled with the format, with deadlines, and especially with homework. I thought that maybe it was a discipline issue, like I was just lazy and unmotivated. So I tried to use positive and negative reinforcement of myself, and that just led to my mental health spiraling far enough out of control to where I found myself sitting in a counselor's office a few times trying to avoid having my parents or even the police called on me. Looking back on it, it's pretty silly that I was able to convince myself that I was just lazy or stupid or absent. That's what I was told. I was told that if you can't make it or can't make sense of the curriculum, then you are the problem. The support you might get from teachers and staff only extends to who might be considered troubled or at risk. For me, I just sat in class, having an internal meltdown because I zoned out for a second while the teacher was talking, and then suddenly I had absolutely no clue what they were talking about. Obviously, it's easy to ask for help when you don't understand something, and at first I would. But it got to the point to where teachers would get annoyed or even angry with me because they just think I'm being a clown. I've been called stupid by my peers and by some teachers over this. After a while, I just stopped asking for help. I didn't want to be perceived as stupid. I wanted so desperately to be smart. But this happened when I was so young, and I just became conditioned to put my head in the sand, barely pass the class, do all the homework late, cheat on all the tests, and tell myself that next semester or next year will be different and I'll teach myself over the break. Now that I'm out of high school, I'm still putting off college. I'll get there eventually, I promise. I've had time to actually teach myself what I've missed out on all these years. And with the support of my incredible friends and online resources, I can finally say that I don't feel left behind when it comes to my education. I'm a long ways away from finishing it, you technically never do, but at least I know I can get where I want to be. This makes me want to ask though, what's different? What changed? The answer, I think, is I'm in control now. I do my own lesson plans. I don't have to listen to a lecture and try not to zone out when listening, because that's very difficult for me. I literally have to actively try to stay in conversations and not just start having my own in my head with myself while I'm talking to someone. They'll say something that reminds me of a thing that I start thinking about, and then I just stop listening to them. And I do that all the time, so it's easy to see why it's so much harder for me to just sit and listen and, hang on to every word that someone else is saying. I watch videos of pre-recorded lectures, I follow YouTube guides and tutorials, I play games that help teach fundamentals and concepts, I pursue things that interest me, and I found that I'm not only enjoying learning, but I'm damn good at it too. Faster than I ever thought I could be. Now this has to beg the question, if I can learn what was taught in school so easily on my own, then why did I have such a miserably hard time in school with the same materials? I think for me, I either got extraordinarily unlucky with my teachers early on, or this is more of a systematic issue. School is not a one-size-fits-all type of deal. It works for most people, but that's just people who learn conventionally, people who are able to sit through mind-numbing speeches and sort through all of the filler and find what they actually need to listen to and remember. Then they do all of the assignments and tests and forget about it once you all stop using it and replace it with what comes next. I would always just, slip through the cracks, fly under the radar, and teachers who are dealing with potentially thousands of students a day would never have the time to take notice because, while it's their job to teach 100% of the kids who come through the doors, it's pretty easy to tell yourself, getting 90% is still just fine. If you've made it this far through the video, thank you so much for sticking around. I do appreciate it greatly. I definitely know I'm not hitting 1,000 before the end of the year, but you know what? That's not important. I still got almost 400 subscribers in like 1.5 months, and that to me is still mind-blowing. So thank you to everyone who joined, thank you to everyone who's sticking around, and I hope you all have an incredible day.